For number 9, we're given an angle of 15 pi over 6. We do need to do some work to that to get that angle on our unit circle. I'm going to start by subtracting 2 pi. And 2 pi and 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So we're going to subtract 12 pi over 6. Remember, we can only subtract 2 pi or add 2 pi to get to that same spot on a unit circle. So when I subtract 12 pi over 6, 15 minus 12 is 3. And 3 pi over 6 reduces down to pi over 2. So I'm doing all 6 trig ratios at pi over 2. Pi over 2 is that top spot, 90 degrees. Cosine there is 0, sine is 1. I'm always going to start with sine, cosine, and tangent first. I think sometimes these are the easiest for the first 3, and they're very easy to get the next 3 wrong because of that undefined situation. So we just said sine is our y value, and it's 1. Cosine is our x value. And tangent is sine over cosine. So here, 1 over 0 is undefined. All right, the reciprocal of sine is cosecant. If sine is 1 over 1, cosecant is 1 over 1 as well. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. I like to write any of my zeros as 0 over 1, just so when I flip them, I get that visual of the 0 in the denominator. And 0 in the denominator is undefined. And last one, cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. And I can flip my 1 over 0 there, 0 over 1. You can flip tangent, or you can do cosine over sine. Cosine was 0 and sine was 1. So cosine over sine, 0 over 1, so cotangent is 0. Make sure you work all 6 of those out, particularly the 3 reciprocals that you don't kind of just see on your unit circle. Make sure you work those out and do those little baby steps so that you can be certain that your work is correct. Okay, 17 pi over 6. The last one with 6 values, and then the next like, I don't know, 100 problems on the review are just little singlet problems. 17 pi over 6, again, too big to be on our unit circle. 2 pi and 6, just like on number 9, is 12 pi over 6. 17 pi over 6 minus 12 pi over 6 gives us 5 pi over 6. So 17 pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6 are coterminal angles. They live on the same spot on the unit circle. 5 pi over 6 is in quadrant 2, just a little less than pi. So that means cosine is going to be negative, sine is going to be positive. All right. At all of our 6, sine is 1/2. And we just said that sine is positive in quadrant 2. At all of our 6, cosine is radical 3 over 2. But since cosine is our x value and we're going to the left of the origin, cosine is negative. And at all of our 6, tangent is radical 3 over 3. You're welcome to do sine divided by cosine there as well. So if you don't have that memorized and you want to do 1/2 divided by negative radical 3 over 2 and then rationalize, you can absolutely do that. But I hope that you have some of the tangent values memorized. And since sine is the only one that's positive in quadrant 2, tangent is going to be negative. All right, now with the reciprocals. Cosecant is sine flipped. So if sine is 1/2, cosecant is 2 over 1, or 2. Right. Secant is cosine flipped. So you can write that as negative 2 over radical 3, and then rationalize if you would like. If you can go directly to negative 2 radical 3 over 3, that's even better. Where tangent is radical 3 over 3, cotangent is radical 3. You have some options with cotangent. You can flip tangent and rationalize and reduce. Or you can do cosine divided by sine if you don't have cotangent memorized. So cosine divided by sine here would look like this. And you could do your flip the second and multiply. Alright, the rest of the review is just singlet problems, so I'm going to try to group a lot of them on single videos. I would, if you got through these, if you watch these videos, I would see if you can get through the rest of the review kind of on your own. Watch the videos as needed.